Hello, and welcome to the latest Darkest Duo workshop. In this episode, we aim to cover our Dragon Team strategy, how it works, links together, and ultimately works, giving the Dragons of Darkest AFK one massive headache and leaving players wanting the next big milestone score-wise. This new meta Dragon Team comes with a slight warning. It isn't new player friendly as it requires some pretty decent investments in terms of stars, signature weapon, and sacred aura to really show the numbers we're about to go over. The focal point of this Dragon Team is Ailiri, so let's dive in and break down her skills and why it's incredibly effective against the dragons. Ailiri's ultimate skill applies a blessing to herself, increasing her attack and accuracy by 25% and dealing 450% damage to the target with the highest attack. The blessing comes with 7 stages, and a stage is removed for each attack she receives, but should she ultimate again before the blessing is removed, it applies another 25% attack and accuracy and resets the stages back to the maximum of 7. Upon a critical, she increases her attack and accuracy by 50% and deals a very nice 700% damage. Next is the all-important trigger skill, Death Brand. This is where Ailiri damage is coming from against the dragons. For each trigger activation by Ailiri, she deals 250% to the foe with the highest attack and also applies weakening for 3 seconds, and the target is marked with a Death Brand. This Death Brand links up with the passive skill, which with Sacred Aura unlocked, every 8 seconds Ailiri deals 150% of Ailiri's attack stats to all foes marked with each Death Brand, and also blocks foes from removing her Angelic Blessings for 4 seconds after the passive activates. So when you add the ultimate, the trigger, and the passive skill together against a single target like the dragons, you are very quickly able to boost your own attack with the ultimates, apply multiple marks to the target whilst your passive skill is hitting for more and more damage every 8 seconds as the fight goes on. Ailiri truly is a one-woman army when it comes to the setup, but slight problem with these dragons is they hit hard, very hard. Whilst Ailiri is able to deal massive damage, doesn't last long without some vital support, which brings us nicely up to the next section of our video, the rest of the team lineup. And what dragon or raid boss team is even a team without the legendary Tillion? Simply unmatched due to his incredible passive skill, which allows all heroes to deal an additional 25% damage to marked targets. Tillion also offers up equally important ultimate cooldowns from his own ultimate skill and the blocking and removal of status effects when they are applied upon a critical. The ultimate companion for any game bosses for sure. And the all-important third slot in this lineup. Here we have 2 viable options. Ailiri and Tillion need to heal from any damage taken by the dragons, otherwise you will not be running down the timers to gain those massive scores. 2 options available here are Sun Wukong and Riggs Ash, both of which fill this role sufficiently. Option 1, and my personal preference, is Sun Wukong. Wu for short for the remainder of this video just for ease. Wu's ultimate skill boosts the attack of allies by 30% and allows them to heal for 25% of damage dealt, which increases in value with each of his forms, Warrior and then Monkey King, to an impressive 50% attack for all allies and 40% healing from damage dealt, which with all of Ailiri's stacked buffs from Wu and her ultimate can fully heal her in as little as 2 regular attacks. Wu also comes with a stun with his trigger skill Thunderstaff, which can come in very nicely against the dragons, and with his passive skill upon gaining the Monkey King form he heals himself for 5% of his maximum HP every 3 seconds, which helps the overall survivability of this lineup. Option number 2 is Riggs Ash. Riggs is a support class hero whose ultimate skill increases the critical rate and damage of the allied heroes, whilst also lowering the enemy's critical rate and damage, all while dealing some damage to the enemies. Riggs' trigger skill deals damage again, messing with the enemy's crit rate, and also applies weakening to them, whilst he randomly boosts an ally's attack and defense and crit rate for 4 seconds. This trigger can be frustrating as you'd really like to land and boost Ailiri, but obviously this can also land on Tillion. Now for the all-important passive skill where Riggs' Ash healing comes from. For each critical activation, Riggs will boost crit damage and crit rate of the entire lineup, which stacks for a maximum of 5 times per battle. Upon a critical hit, allies will heal 33% HP for the damage they dealt. So in terms of options for healing, it basically comes down to two things. Sun Wukong is more consistent with his healing as it comes from his ultimate skill, which is on a cooldown thanks to Tillion, and the trio are able to stay alive for the full 1 minute 30 seconds from time to time. The dragons really do hurt. With Rig's Ash, you are sacrificing the consistent healing in favour of more overall damage output thanks to the criticals your entire party are now gaining thanks to the plethora of crit boosting skills. Both are great heroes for this lineup, and it all comes down to what you have available to you and how much you are willing to spend time resetting the dragons for more consistent high scores. Now the band's all together, you're probably thinking, which pet? Having tested the obvious choice in Butch with his ×2 support and 1 damage and stat boosting affinities, outside of these stats he doesn't really bring a great deal to his lineup sadly. So instead we tested Rex to help keep the supports alive, which in turn keeps Ailiri firing, and oh boy we were on to a winner. With Rex's third skill, which applies a shield to the 2 support heroes, keeping them alive, and now with pet gear even reflects back some pretty decent damage too, but more crucially is Rex's main skill, which upon his death grants immunities from status effects for 6 seconds, which in itself against the dragons is quite literally a lifesaver. And with Rex, he gives heroes 30 energy upon his death also, which all adds to the build. We didn't start seeing these sorts of numbers in the dragons until Ailiri was 12 stars, signature weapon level 20 and sacred aura level 20. It was at this point she was able to start surviving towards the end of the dragon runs. Once again, not a very beginner friendly build, but achievable with some forward planning if high numbers are your thing. We have a link to the video showcasing the build against the dragons if you did want to see it in all its glories. The link can be found in the description of this video. And with that said, this concludes this episode of Darkest Duo Workshops. Hope you've enjoyed the insight and the breaking down of this lineup. From us at the Darkest Duo, have a good day.